All right, what's up, everyone? Morey Croson here from the Performance Lab of California, and we have another cool breakdown for you today on Bo Jackson, arguably the greatest overall athlete of all time. Was Bo Jackson, just because of his ability to make a MLB All-Star game as well as a Pro Bowl within the same year. So, in terms of an overall, just overall athlete, he's definitely at least in the top five, right? Just super fast, had a great arm, great running back, great outfielder. Just did everything very, very well. So, with that being said, we wanted to do a breakdown on just like how fast, right? Because he's a very, very big person. And whenever you talk about big people and their ability to, run fast, obviously the amount of force that they're able to create is just giant. So, really getting more into what his overall speed is, how fast that he was running at like the 6'1", about 220, 225 pounds is really the idea of what we're going to do here. So what I did is, this is that run against Seattle where he just kind of took off. He ended up running into the tunnel here. Actually got this recommended to us, so thank you for that. So you can see here is where we're going to start it. It's in 28:90 is the time period. And from here, how far he runs 40 yards, right? And how fast did he run the 40 yards in is actually 3.75 seconds is how fast he actually ran that in, which, it's all based off the tracker here. So 3.75 basically, if we went into, like what the timing would equate to, it would be like 3 3/4 seconds, right? So 3 seconds and 3.75 is perfect. So 3.75 seconds, 40 yards, and what that ends up being is 21, almost 21.8 miles per hour, right? Which is phenomenal. Obviously, this is a thing that he's doing over a period of time. But now what makes it so, this person is just so overall fast is really the transition time for the overall size, right? So if we see he's pushing off the ground 29.69, and I know this is a lot of numbers. I just get very detail oriented in the numbers because the numbers tell all, right? And this is left side. So left side, he took off at, let's say, 29.90. Touches back down at 30.03. Then touches down at 30.23. So both of those, this one's 0.34, this one's 0.33. In terms of time spent off of the ground, overall transition time at 6'1" and 220 pounds is just a massive amount of force production that he's able to produce. In terms of power, in terms of strength, in terms of force, there's just not very many guys that are really able to move their legs that fast. Because if we're looking at it from a transition time perspective, what that means is that when he's pushing off, and that ends up being a big part of in being able to transition time or create that transition time, is really your ability to absorb force and generate force, right? Because when you're pushing off, right, you got to be able to push off in a way where, and you can even see how he does it here, where he's pushing off, he's getting a good amount of extension, but he's able to drive that leg right back through immediately in order to get back in front. Because a lot of times we see the people with very similar running styles, right? It's not necessarily his running style, it's a lot different. It's the speed that he's able to maintain that makes it so it's so rare because of his size. Being 6'1", 220 pounds, that's a lot of force. It's a lot of torque, right? There's guys that struggle in getting transition time 0.33 or 0.34 that are 180 pounds, right? And he's 220 to 225 pounds, right? So in terms of overall force production, that gets significantly bigger. We see we'll get a little bit more information on exactly what the average is in terms of consistent growth, but I would say it's probably about 50 newtons of force, maybe 50 to 100 newtons of force per 5 pounds of size, right? So every 5 pounds somebody goes up, they're creating another 50 to 100 newtons of force. So when you talk about somebody going up 40 pounds, that's about 8 times as much force in each leg on each step, right? So that's a very, very impactful, very, very forceful person that's able to do that. And that's why he's considered one of the greatest athletes ever, is because of his ability to really maximize his turnover, maximize his speed, and generate that amount of speed. So yeah, 22 miles an hour. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit more information about who he was, right? 3.75 in the 40. Obviously, he was already running. So they talk about how he got clocked at running a 4.13. Right, but when he's already running, he gets to a 3.75, runs about 22 miles an hour. Again, this was, not top speed. It was over 40 yards, and we started it right here. So, he's still not at top speed yet. He's probably at top speed somewhere right around in there, and he only probably maintains it for a few steps, right? Because, like they say, Usain Bolt runs up to 28 miles an hour, but that's like the highest that he ran to was at the top. So when we're talking about Bo, maybe he got up to, 24, 25 miles an hour at his top, just wasn't able to sustain that over and over a long period of time. He averages about 22 miles an hour, which is still very, very fast, very, very overall, in terms of again, in terms of an athlete and being able to really maximize turnover. I think that the more that I look at the form, right, I see a lot of the same types of form, the same type of mechanics. Yeah, there are certain things that we'll see difference in terms of landing on the feet. There's certain things that we'll see different in terms of, knee height. There's different things that we'll see in terms of overall extension within the back leg, but they're minimal. There's not a lot of difference. What ends up being the big difference is, to me, it's overall endurance, right, being able to maintain a certain speed. So for him, 0.33 to 0.34 over a period of time, right? And then from there, it goes into overall power and durability, right? Because what happens to people is, as these numbers begin to improve, right? So maybe for him going from 0.33, 0.34 to going down to 0.32 on both legs, does he have the power and the durability to maintain that over a period of time, right? So first you got to be able to build up the power. Then as you build up the power, then you got to be able to build up the durability, right? And being able to build up the durability, staying healthy, being able to maintain that now builds up endurance. And then once you get the endurance, then it comes back into, building the power and the durability, right? So being able to get that cycle going makes it so now you can go from running 0.38 to 0.35 in the 100 or the 200 or whatever, and makes it so now you can become an athlete that performs at a higher and higher and higher and higher and higher level. So yeah, just some cool information on how you can perform better as an athlete, and getting some more details into the technical sides of overall performance. So yeah, guys, as always, if you're having an interest in our programs, go and check it out. We have a page for athletes that are looking to get analysis, a breakdown, just get more information. And all this stuff, I give a lot of broadness within these videos, but there's a lot of technical sides of what we do within, your breakdowns. It gets more and more specific, based off what your goals are, right? So this is obviously a little bit more of just a knowledge base of how great of an athlete Bo Jackson was. But if you want to get some more technical information, that's where that breakdown will really, really help you in being able to better understand where you're at and how you can improve. All right, as always, guys, thanks for watching the video, and we will talk to you soon.